Hello and welcome back to Tidbit of Torah. I invite you to imagine a place where you feel like you can be your truest self, a place that you feel truly at home. Maybe it's in your own backyard or at your desk at work. Maybe it's up in the mountains in your spiritual home, or who knows where it is. But I wonder if it's where you thought you would end up, or even more so where your parents might have thought that you would end up. It's likely that it's not, because we all forge our own path, we all blaze our own trail, we all have a vision and create our own life. And this comes up in a profound way in this week's Torah portion, Matot Maseh, when Reuben and Gad approach Moses with an unusual request. They say, Moses, we'd like to request to actually stay on this side of the Jordan River and live here, because we're grazers and our cattle and our sheep and our people would be most happy and safe here. Instead of crossing the Jordan like you might have imagined, we would all end up in the land of Canaan. How does Moses react? Well, he's upset. Wait, but we had this vision. Wait, but I thought we were all going to be together in the land of Canaan, in the promised land. Weren't you going to help out and help us conquer the land? Wait, what? Aren't you abandoning God? Is Moses's reaction. And many of us can perhaps relate to that feeling of, with our children, with other people, of, wait a minute, this isn't where I thought you'd end up. This isn't how I thought it would be. I thought we'd all be together. I thought you would be doing this, or I thought we'd be doing that, right? That feeling of, this isn't what I expected. And yet, we learn a profound lesson from this week's Torah portion about the importance of letting others, about our children and others in our life, be able to find their own path in their own home, a place where they feel safe, physically, spiritually, emotionally, a place where they feel they can be their truest selves. And that is a process that Moses, our leader, like us, has to go through this week. There's a wonderful story that the rabbis tell about a man named Zusia. And when Zusia gets to be at the end of his life, he's worried about how he's going to be remembered. He's worried that God will ask him, Zusia, why were you not more like the great Moses or the great Solomon or the great David? But instead, after Zusia passes, what does God ask him? God asks him simply, why were you not more like Zusia? Why were you not more like your most true, authentic self? What a gift it is to be able to help support our children and others in their lives and becoming their truest selves, even if it's not what we might have expected or wanted for them. What a gift it is to support them along that path, along that journey. It's hard, but it's such a gift and so important. And at times we can also help them to be able to figure out who it is that is their truest self. What is the path that they are meant to be on? And Moses does that in a certain way for Reuben and Gad. When Reuben and Gad say, we will build here on this side of the Jordan, sheepfolds for our flocks and towns for our children, Moses in response is, build towns for your children and sheepfolds for your flocks, but do what you've promised, which is to go to the other side of the Jordan first and help the Israelites to fight for the land. But you might notice that the order in which Moses responds, with putting towns first and then sheepfolds for the flock second, so the children are first and the animals are second, is different and opposite than how Reuben and Gad put it. Rashi, the 11th century commentator, says this is intentional because Moses is pointing out a question to Reuben and Gad about, what is your ikar? What is your essence? Is it truly about the animals? Is it truly about finding the sheepfolds for your flocks? Or could it be about finding the right place for your children to live and to thrive? What is the ikar, the essence, and what's the tafel? What's the secondary, lower priorities that exist? This is a message that I think we can also relate to. The ability to be able to help ourselves, but all the more so others, to be able to figure out what the priorities are in their lives. What's a question that we could ask our children to help them figure out what their passions are, what they want to do with their life, what they want to end up, that doesn't interlay our own desires or expectations, but allows them to help refine their own visions and priorities themselves. There's a tension and challenge in doing this, and we see Moses struggling with this, which just goes to show that it's not easy. And yet, what a gift to the people in our lives, and in turn to ourselves and our families, if we can both let go of our own expectations, but also lean in to being able to be supportive sounding boards, guides, and mentors for those that we truly care about in our lives, to show up as supporters, to help others to truly find their most deep and lasting home, their most authentic selves. Shabbat Shalom.